everybody, it's Irene down in the studio this morning, and obviously I'm doing pewter casting, and I realized there's something here that you've probably never seen me do before. Now, to refresh people who haven't seen this in a while, this guy over here is a 600 degree pot which has lead-free pewter in it, and these are the molds that I normally use. They come in multiple colors. I have white ones, I have pink ones, I have green ones, and the colors have to do with the material that the molds are made out of. But they work pretty much the same way. We've got, open one here. Got a mold there. This is a St. Catherine's wheel, which did not cast completely. You can see this little tiny bit of gap right there. This is the first ones I've cast today, so the mold was still cold when I put the stuff in. So it's not shocking that it didn't cast it. And the way I normally would do this is, put that guy back in there. In this case, I'm actually doing two molds in the same press. So, see if this one did better. It should have. And nope, it did not. This was also cold, so you can see that this did not cast completely. The loop there did not cast, and this little part of the scallop shell did not cast. This is a site token for an event we're getting ready to go to, Penzic 51. So this is L1 there, which is 51 in Roman numerals. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this back in the press, and you'll get to see how it works. Make sure I get the right one, since I have a little pile of them here. Wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't, but my goal is to actually produce specific castings. So these are cheapy clamps from Harbor Freight. They come like this. At some point the pewter gets to the point where it melts these too badly, and then they don't have them on there anymore, but that doesn't affect anything for this particular job, because all I'm doing is using them to hold the wood together, that, well, it's a composite board together that holds the molds in place. And what it's doing is it's clamping the two sides of the mold together tightly enough that they shouldn't leak. And I say shouldn't because once in a while they will, but that's why you have a surface on which it's not going to burst into flame or something like that. Got a few little frizzy pieces here. This is my ladle. Always have to remember that when you've had it in here, it's hot when you're done. So don't stick it up, just touch it with your fingers, because you'll burn yourself. Okay, so. Whee! And I'm going to thump that a little bit, because it helps to get the air bubbles out. Okay, and then we'll wait for that to cool off. This mold here works the same way. It's the same concept. This cannot be used with those because this is a slightly different thickness, unfortunately. So, okay, and that one came out. Let me take a closer look at it. Now, the outline of it came out okay, but this part here did not get a good clarity to the cast. So, bloop. That just gets tossed back in. That's one of the nice things about this particular type of casting. Easy recycle. Now, if I was concerned about it not casting well because it just seems like it's not flowing right, then what I would do is I would paint the inside of this mold with this, which is jeweler's talc. It's like baby powder. It's supposed to be asbestos free, and what it does is it creates a combination of slickness and whatnot on the surface so that the metal will flow better. Also, if there's any stickiness from the resin that this is made out of, it's actually made out of a silicone, and sometimes it can get a little bit of stickiness on the surface. If there's any stickiness from that, then it'll take away that stickiness. All right, so we're now ready to cast this one. And I know at least some of you have seen me do this before. make the molds myself, sometimes using an original piece of metal and sometimes using a piece of wax that I've carved into the shape. In this case, these were done with waxes. Sometimes I've had, I have some old soapstone molds. Let's see if I can grab one here. I have mold storage underneath the bench here. There's a piece of a soapstone mold. Soapstone. And this one has only been used as a back, and it hasn't been used in a while. You can see the corner cracked off on it. Let's see if I can find somebody else who shows better. Oh yeah, okay. There's one that's got a wrist clasp carved in it. The other side is a heart. And in this case, the metal will be poured in from the top, and you just have that heart. That's a Thor's hammer, same concept. And these are wrist clasps. In fact, I probably need to cast some of those. Always good to remind yourself. Let's see, is there another piece to that? Let's see what else is in here. Oh, there's a crown that's I don't remember whose crown that is, but anyway, it's a pilgrim's token. I'm not currently making those. I want to, but this one's a little bit on the large size, so I hadn't decided whether I was going to cast it or not. I'll set it aside. I wanted to recarve it, and I just haven't had the time. What's in here? Ah, there's another. That's a Hubert's horn. It's a hunting horn. There we go. And so obviously, you pour it like that. Funnel. Boop. There we go. But yeah. So, yep, those are some of the soapstone molds. And those can sometimes be used to produce the metals that are then used to cast new molds and all that kind of stuff. But I realized you guys have never seen me do, let me slide all this stuff over. So I do need a little space. You guys have never seen me do one of these. And this is a sand casting mold. I don't think I've ever shown this, or if I have, it's been quite a while. And let me pop it open. This material here is Delft clay. It's a very fine sand with oil mixture. When you're casting into it with lead-free pewter, which is what this is, it does not catch on fire. When you are casting something hotter like silver or bronze, it does cast on fire, which means you really need super good ventilation. I'm currently running in the fan in here, and I'm hoping it won't just be too disruptive. I'm trying to talk close to this thing here so I can, but there we go. This is a custom piece for a customer. Make sure it's cooled down enough. You can. One of the problems with the sand casting is the sand itself holds heat, and then you're dealing with, a lot of times you're only casting big pieces, so you're dealing with a larger piece of metal that doesn't cool down as quickly as the small pieces do, and you need to remind yourself that, because you can cook your fingers pretty good that way. But there's the crescent, and here's the original she sent me. So you can see, once I get all the sand off of it, I just need to trim that off, and it's the same. And then I use a hacksaw to cut this off in the back and polish it up a little bit. Let me see if I've got one over here. Yep, I've got one that's sitting over in the final finishing department. This is all ready to go into the final polish. So it's had everything done to it. You'll see it's got holes that I've made sure are clear the same way as the original does. You put a loop there and a loop there to put to a string for your necklace, and this part you could put a dangly piece in there. I don't know what kind of dangly piece she does. I didn't ask, it's not my job. My job is to create these for her, and once these are created, then they're just raw material for her. So Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I pack one of these molds.